Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to what is becoming a bit of a annual tradition at the turn of the new year. So the past few years, I've kind of looked at my top 10 games of all time. So not that many from this year. I did actually look at the games I've played, and I think to get a top 10, I'd have to go back certainly to 2015, maybe to 2014. So this isn't going to be a top 10 of the year. This is top 10 of all games that I've played. But obviously it's going to change. A lot of the Let's Plays I do are blind. So that means these games are new to me, so they may sneak into it. This video is going to be 10 to 6, and then the next video will be 5 to 1. So, let's go, shall we? Number 10. So this is a game that I think has been on before, but I haven't Let's Played, so I don't know what... well, I'm not sure why it's come on. I think there might be a reason why, which is I'm thinking of doing this as a subscriber special down the line. And it's the Temple of Elemental Evil, and that's it's based on, I think, 3.5 edition of Dungeons and Dragons. And in that one, you create your party of 6. And my idea is to let you guys vote on which characters from Let's Plays I've done should make it into my All-Stars team for my 6-character party. So I've played a bit of the original Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition module. I think I actually have it. And you get your 6 characters, you build them up, you get equipment, you go into the dungeons, and because it really bugs me in Baldur's Gate, let's talk about the combat. It's turn-based. It's actually turn-based. Everyone gets their initiative as if you were playing a pen and paper role-playing game. And so, as you're going into the dungeon, as you hit a combat, initiative develops and everyone does their thing at their time, rather than Baldur's Gate, where everyone has their initiative and goes in their turn sequence, but they get to move around in real time, but still get hit if they're at the wrong place at the wrong turn time. It's kind of old. I think it's 2003. It's quite buggy from what I recall reading, although I don't think I faced that many bugs. Maybe I just got lucky when I originally played it. But there's loads of mods. There's unofficial patches. And that isn't the last time I'm going to be talking about games that have unofficial patches. Number 9, the Banner Saga. So last year this was number 3. I'm not entirely sure why it's dropped down. But it's quite fun. Again, it's turn-based combat, which is something I do like the idea of. I think it's better than the pseudo turn-based of Baldur's Gate and that ilk. But Banner Saga 2's come out, and so I probably will end up having to replay this because, as has been mentioned in various videos and in a few comments where people have asked me about things, in March, I think it was, I got a virus that hit my computer and it wiped out all my files, including all my save games, which is why there's a few issues with, I think some of my Let's Plays have just stopped because of it, which is really unfortunate. And so I've lost the save game for this, so I'm going to have to go back and do it if I want to do Banner Saga 2, the way kind of coming from it. It's the same issue I have with Baldur's Gate 2. If I want to play that, I have to replay Baldur's Gate, which doesn't fill me with great confidence. The combat's turn-based, but there is kind of a real-time strategic element, as you are the leader of a caravan moving through the frozen northlands of Sweden? Somewhere it's this frozen waste, and as you're travelling along, the days will tick on, and as the days tick on, your people eat food. And if you don't have food, people die of starvation. So It's kind of frustrating. There's a few moments in the game that are a little off in that you can prepare for something and then the game will go, actually, no, you don't get that. I remember you wait in one chapter, you're waiting outside the walls, or you arrive at a city you're not allowed in. And I remember buying food because I was low on food, and then the game advanced to a later chapter, and we were still stuck outside with a fixed value of food. So that was kind of frustrating. Your choices do seem to have impacts as well. Who you talk to, what you do, sometimes it'll get you food, sometimes it'll get you items, sometimes it'll get you into another fight, which could end up killing people. Your characters can die, so that's worrisome. I think some of them can die in certain situations. So you kind of got to manage that and be careful, because you don't want to end up losing, well, for me, anyone. But of course you don't want to lose all of your characters. I'm not sure exactly how it triggers death, because I think some people die in certain situations, some people die in others. Everyone has different abilities that can be triggered by using willpower, which you can get by having them pass instead of taking an action in combat, and you can move and attack and so on. Everything's very clear in the game as well during that combat. You know what your attacks are going to do, pretty much. I think it's pretty deterministic, if memory serves, in that I have a strength value, you have a defense, and so I know what's going to happen between that. But I could also attack your defense, attack your armor, which will then weaken that and make it easier for other people to deal direct damage to you. So I think that's kind of the cleanness of the combat, and the story, having those narrative kind of branches and choices. It really kind of changes how it works. Number 8. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. If you're interested in this, if you're interested in watching a current playthrough of it, I think Variax is doing a blind run-through of it. So go and have a look at him and watch his stuff. It's another game that you need an unofficial patch for, really, just to kind of get the best out of it. There's some parts of the game that the patch adds back, or can add back. I don't think I used that particular patch in my Let's Play when I played it blind. It's a lot more of a real-time combat. There's no real kind of turns in it, not even hidden ones. It has an aspect of kind of that first person. Like I've heard that people don't think the guns work particularly well. I found them playable. Then again, I don't play a lot of first-person shooters, so what do I know about kind of guns and the like? This game, Vampire, has probably one of my favourite levels in it. I can't really think of another level that stands out to me as much as the Ocean House Hotel still does. And maybe that's because I recently watched Variax play through it. But even then, I'm thinking of of games I've played recently, or the games I've just been Let's Playing, and the levels I've been doing, and the quests I've been doing, and none of them stand out in my head as much as the Ocean House Hotel does. And I'm someone who doesn't like horror. I don't like jump scares looking at you through a level of this game. But the Ocean House Hotel, it does have them in little ways, and it builds up the atmosphere wonderfully. And that's kind of a general thing for most of it, is the atmosphere is very fitting for what it does. There's boss fights throughout. They're quite difficult, and I think the reason why this game has boss fights and so many others fail to, or don't have them as much, is because it's a linear game. It's not as open world and flexible as Inquisition, where I'm trying to think of games that I would think, fights that I would think of as boss fights. There's nothing peculiarly boss fightish about any of them. It's just, here is an enemy that is very similar to other enemies you've faced. Maybe it has a couple of phases, but it's not jumping out to me as this is a distinct enemy. You think of the Tsumitsi, pretty much both times you fight him, he's different to what you'd normally face. You think about the sheriff, he's different. And so you have those aspects that the different people you face have different abilities and they are different, which doesn't seem to come across in Inquisition. Thinking about Witcher 2. In The Witcher 2, you often face, it's normally monsters, I think, with the bosses. So you had like the Arrakis in Chapter 1. Chapter 2, I don't think there was really a boss fight in Chapter 2. Here is a boss monster fight. I think there were a few things where there's like waves of things coming at you. So there's that kind of frustration in that, is that Vampire does have good boss fights, it has great levels, and the story's quite interesting, just seeing it kind of pan out, and you're kind of a pawn being played by multiple sides, until finally you do have to make a decision as to which side you're going to be on, and I assume you do actually have a bit of leeway in that choice, from the cab scene in the end. Number 7. So we've just had basically 3 RPGs. Let's move to kind of the other genre that does make up quite a bit of my my channel, which is the puzzle game genre. So this is The Longest Journey. I actually really enjoyed it, and I think that comes across not just in that Let's Play, but in how disappointing and frustrating I found Dreamfall, because it had a lot to live up to, and it's kind of why I'm umming and ahhing and finding it kind of leaning towards the idea of taking breaks in the series rather than going straight on. I mean, it doesn't always happen. Sometimes I'm just too excited about the game, but I do still have that in the back of my head now about the next Let's Play after a game in a series, because The Longest Journey, it was brilliantly written, the different sections were great, the puzzles I think for the most part were logical. I can't think of anything that, or I could figure them out and I didn't have to run away to a walkthrough that I can remember. Maybe I did. I would have mentioned it, I'm sure. It's this interesting game that's kind of then undermined by its sequel, and I'm sure it's not the only one. It's a standard point-and-click game. There is the benefit that you don't have to try and just interact with something. If you have an item in hand and hover it over something else, then the game will, or the cursor will kind of glimmer if you can use the item. So it does inform you of what you can do with your items and with your puzzles and trying to work through things. So there is that really useful thing. It's the idea of, again, you're fighting to save the world, in effect. Or the worlds. Because for the storyline, there are 2 worlds, Stark and Arcadia, and Stark is essentially Earth as it is, well, a few years down, is like a certain number of years down the line, and Arcadia is our Earth as if magic existed and hadn't really progressed since, in The Longest Journey, since medieval times, and Dreamfall's almost kind of the Renaissance coming in. And if technology is coming into the world of magic is most likely coming into the world of technology. That's never fully explored in Dreamfall, which again is a frustration. Is you've got this kind of idea that you're kind of building on, but it doesn't go anywhere. Apparently, done better in Dreamfall chapters, which I will hopefully get to at some point. The story is brilliant. I think the characters are great. Crow's an amazing sidekick, but he doesn't overshadow the main character, April. Although I kind of see Crow's different, April's different in Dreamfall. This is just turning into be ragging on Dreamfall, and it shouldn't be. The Longest Journey, it's great puzzles, great story that kind of comes up and seems to... Your character's actions progress naturally from what's happening. It's hard to talk about the mechanics of a puzzle game. You click on a space, you move, you pick up an item, you talk to people, you find out those things, you find out clues to the puzzles you're meant to be solving. It's a well-structured, well-built puzzle game in a point-and-click adventure way. But it's not my top puzzle game, because number 6 is The Last Express. I really like the real-time aspect of it. And I know I was kind of saying I really like turn-based combat, but in this puzzle game, you are limited by time. You are on the Orient Express, the last express before World War I, as it happens, hence the Last Express. And you are trying to solve puzzles, work things out, having found that your friend, who invited you on to meet him on the Orient Express, has been killed. And you've got to try and solve the murder while dealing with whatever he was dealing with. He was up to something, it seems. And I know I get frustrated with role-playing games when they break the standard trope, as it were, of this quest must be done now, that priority, that urgency, but actually, you can go and do 7 plus whatever side quests, go off and do it, your time is completely different. And I find it frustrating when RPGs kind of break with that trope at times, when they do it without warning. But this game is timed. As you're playing the game, all the events are progressing. You can hear little clues, little snippets of people's lives, and the whole game seems alive because of that. The puzzles, for the most part, kind of make sense in the game world, and I say that. Sometimes I just miss things because I'm in a video game mindset, and some of that doesn't work, I don't think. There's aspects you can't get into someone else's room if the porter, is it the porter of the carriage, can see you, because he's going to call out, that's not your room, is it, sir? No, and you can't go in. So it feels like the real world. It feels like something happening in the real world, not just set in the real world, because all of these different things and clues and conversations are going on. You could just sit in the dining room, in the dining car, and listen to all these conversations going backwards and forwards, and lose the game because you haven't got anything out of it. Again, you've not done any of the puzzles. But you can hear how everything goes on, and the ending is so dramatic in many different ways. From just the political side of it leading up to World War I, and kind of what's been happening on the train and what happens there, and the end result of all your actions as it comes out. So, The Last Express is a game that I've really enjoyed, and I've really enjoyed Let's Playing. And it is kind of the key thing, is that real-time aspect that goes on there. So those were my 10 to 6 picks. Next time we'll be looking at my number 5 to number 1. So thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching.